Pretending to use a few more machines on the last LP, sort of levitate like a few more computers. That, but I think machines are there to abuse, really. You know, a lot of this dance stuff, I think, is. Yeah, I think you're in a bit of a danger there, where DJs think they're actually musicians. I think it's a bit of a problem.
Do you watch much TV?
I never watch TV, never. Only gardening programs. I don't like them, but it keeps me peaceful. War videos. Last time I saw about one about Colden, the Battle of English Soil, Prince Charlie.
What do you get out of war videos?
Nothing. I watch them with the sound down, or I turn them up, then I go out. Macclesfield? That's full of people who pretend to be in Manchester groups.
Does that piss you off?
You're so good looking, lad. You should do all right.
Cheers. Why don't you tell me about this Inch single?
Let's just say we came to a compromise.
What was that?
I'm not saying.
Do you like London?
It's all right.
What do you like about it?
It's very tolerant, Londoners.
More so than Manchester?
I can't stick Manchester either.
But you live there.
I live in Salford.
So something must keep you up there.
You can go all over the world and nothing's ever any good, is it?
I travel all over the world and I see things I really like.
Like where?
I like New York.
That's a Mac lad who's moved to London talking now. You gotta stick your fucking roots. You don't desert the fucking barracks, all right?
As an artist, though, surely you could get inspiration from.
But you're not fucking artist, are you? And that's what there is to write about down here. Some nice clothes shops and some nice freaky people walking around. So fucking what?
So do you get your inspiration from?
It's all work. It never stops. It's a common fallacy that work is some kind of hindrance that you should live the rest of your life in pleasure. False peace and false fucking leisure. That's the problem with this country. Retiring early, having a good time. The only pleasure in life is work.
But surely.
See, you don't get it. You don't fucking get it, do you? You're from Macclesfield. You're from Macclesfield. You're fucking cretins. You just want to sit on your ass and fucking eat all day.
But if you're doing something you enjoy, you don't necessarily have to work at it.
Ugh.
Do you have a rigid work structure to your life?
What? Ugh.
Do you go into the studio at a certain time?
Are you courting?
Yes.
Yeah, fucking look at you. You don't want to do any work. You're not interested in anything. See, you're just like every fucking fat ass middle management cunt in Britain. You just come out to work to get away from the wife. You're not interested in creating anything. And that's why the country is on its way back, Pally.
Okay. But you and I enjoy our jobs. A lot of people have to do work they hate.
Oh, and I should be grateful, shouldn't I, with the new Labor government? Should be very, very grateful for everything. Look at you. You haven't got your interview together, have you? Admit it. Face up to yourself, pal. I meet people like you every fucking day in the bank, in insurance offices, in record companies. There's gonna come a time when you're gonna have to face being a fucking cunt.
And you're different?
No, I'm just telling you what I think.
Well, tell me what you think about this. Even though the Fall have been hugely influential, many other Manchester bands have had much more success. Is that frustrating?
No,
But wouldn't you rather have had more chart success?
no.
Why not? Surely that's not the normal way musicians get appreciation for their art by people buying their records.
Uh,
Are you happy just being influential?
Whatever.
Pavement, for example, have cited the fall as being a massive influence. Do you see that? Do you
Hmm.
rate Pavement? So what do you want to talk about, Mark?
I thought we were here to talk about the LP.
Okay, we will. But Loaded's not just about music, it's about life. It's just like to get your opinions on a few things. You're known for being a man with opinions. We can talk about whatever you like.
Stop fucking about then. Haven't you got it fucking worked out? You're just some fucking scruffy haired pop star. Ask me some fucking questions.
Have been doing.
All I've got from you is that you've got the flu and that you're some big fucking pop star. It's very endemic in this society. You're not fucking interested in what I have to say.
I am interested in what you've got to say, but you're not saying anything.
Well, fucking work at it then.
Okay. Well, you brought it up. Tell me about the new Labor government.
Oh, God.
Is it going to make any difference in your life?
Oh, Jesus.
Did you vote for them?
Did I fuck? I didn't vote for anything.
Do you never vote?
I vote all the time.
So is it going to make a difference?
It's not going to make a difference at all. It's going to turn us into a fucking Czechoslovakian state. We'll be like we're stuck behind the Iron Curtain, if you ask me.
How so?
Ugh.
How is Labor going to turn us into a communist country? Come on, Mark, give us an opinion.
What did you think about the Princess Di thing? Were you upset?
Not really. Shocked, surprised, but I didn't cry. How about you? Are you pro-monarchy?
Nah.
So why do you think so many people have got so upset?
They've got nothing better to fucking think about.
Hasn't it got to be more than that?
Nah.
Are you all right, Mark? Are you just not in the mood? Is there something I've said to upset you?
No, it's all right.
Is it me? Do you just not want to talk to me specifically?
I can't see the point. I've got work to do. I'm in a fucking band.
Aren't interviews part of being in a band?
I don't particularly like your magazine. I don't fucking really want to talk to you. I'm not interested. I don't see what it's got to do with my band. People who buy my records don't read Loaded.
But maybe loaded readers would buy your records after reading this interview.
People who read Loaded are just frustrated perverts like yourself. I'm not interested in talking to anyone who can't have a fucking drink like a fucking man.
What's that supposed to mean?
What it fucking means is that you're a fucking dead leg cunt, and I'm not. What it fucking means is that you're a fucking dead leg cunt, and I'm not talking to you. And you smell. All right, that was the Tony Award winning reenactment of the musical Broadway musical play Loaded,
Great.
Loaded, which is based on a an interview with Marky Smith from 1997 in the magazine Loaded, and that's what we're getting into today. That era, it's an album that came out in 1997. We thought this was a good way to start it off because you really get the gist of where Mark's head's at from that interview. You get a lot of insightful critiques about society, but also insightful thoughts on the album. So I thought this would be a great way to get the motor running on this album. And Steve, today we're getting into Levitate, and this has been something I don't know about you, but I've been psyched to look forward to, and now we're here and equally psyched to get into some of this really I don't know how to explain. What is the vibe of this album?
It's got a big roller coaster vibe for me.
Mm.
The electronic music is back and not that different of a way, but different enough. But yeah, I mean and the layer of noise that they put into here is kind of unlike anything
Mhm.
else they've done. You know, they add some weird things here and there, but there's a lot of different noises, layers of noise that between the electronic and the noise, it's kind of a far out fall album. Not to mention two tracks that have no vocals at all. So you're kind of like,
Yeah, yeah,
oh.
yep. which
Yeah.
are also like for instrumentals, even for the fall, are like kind of intriguing experimental pieces, which I like too. Yeah, I'm with you on this. A roller coaster is a great way to put it because I get the feeling of a circus vibe. And when I was listening to this album, I said, well, do you remember the Rolling Stones Rock and Roll Circus,
Oh
the
yeah.
production, where they have John Lennon, the Who, and they're all playing under the big top tent. And I was thinking, this is actually the Fall's big top tent album, where it's kind of a carnival act, it's kind of a circus act, it's kind of a you're going to the Funhouse Mirrors. That's kind of the vibe I get, the Funhouse Mirrors, but then also the freak show. Like there's a little bit of a freak show going on in this that's really kind of like a partially opened curtain that you can peek through. And I like
Yeah.
Levitate a lot, like for that reason.
This is not the Barnum and Bailey circus at all.
No,
This
no,
is
no.
the back alley, kind of sets up all of a sudden there's a big top in the empty lot at the end of the block, and you kind of
In the
walk in there.
alleyway.
Yeah, exactly. You're like, how long, when did this get put up and how long is it going to
Yeah.
be here? Cash
No
at
one
the
knows. No one knows.
cash at the door for sure.
No
Yeah.
permits were taken out from the city for them to
No,
prop their
no.
things up.
Yeah. They're just running through town, running from
Yeah.
town to town, setting up.
Yeah, you see the carnies like screwing the bolts into the rides with like their bare hands, and like, they're not all the way tightening them up and ratcheting them closed. But yeah, and I like that. I would have loved a visual accompaniment to this album that was in the vein of that Rolling Stones Rock and Roll Circus, but that was just the Fall, right? The Fall in a big top tent, Marky Smith as the ringleader, as the circus conductor, and the band almost as, you know, what if the band is like playing in, some of them are like in cages, like the animals, they're about to get let out for their solos.
Yeah,
And
you wanted like the original like My Chemical Romance, Welcome to the Black Parade music video, something like that.
I kind of remember that, but not fully. What was that one? That was
I
the
don't know. They're just, I mean, you remember the My Black Parade for
yeah,
sure when you hear
yeah,
it, but yeah, they were just
yeah,
dressed in circus, almost like marching band kind of costumes.
yeah. I mean, but the thing is, like that rock and roll circus the Rolling Stones did was like they were all, you could tell, you could look into all of their eyes, and like there was a good substance going through each one of their veins. And for the fall rock and roll circus, it's only going to be kind of ratcheted up to another level.
I had a kid from high school who his dad drove the carnival rides around the country, and then one summer he got a job setting them up, and that was the last time I ever got on a carnival ride. Once I knew he was in charge of it, I was like, no, thank you.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's exactly right. It's kind of the experience also that it's like probably if you go to a fall show or you go to the fall circus, it's gonna be the last probably time that you experience a show the same way again. Because then everything after that is kind of like I probably, I don't need to see that because I've already experienced like the safe, ex- maybe the most safe but also dangerous way of seeing it. And Levitate is, I mean, it's a long album wise, but for me, it doesn't ever seem long.
No,
For all the listens,
the last album, I I enjoyed it in the end, but it was long for me. And like this one, I just kept,
light
sorry,
user
yeah, light
syndrome.
user syndrome. Yeah, that one felt like it was a chore to get through 15 songs. Like I could never really do it in one sitting comfortably.
Yeah.
And this one, it doesn't flow because it's all over the
Hmm.
place. But I think that is what makes it easier to listen to because one
Yeah.
song is not like the last one, and you're kind of like, whoa, shit, what am I doing here?
Yeah. There is something to it, right? Like there's something to it where it's like the scatteredness of it, it makes it kind of cohesive because it is so off the wall.
Yeah, and I mean they use the instrumentals well,
Hmm.
like where in the past, like especially like User Syndrome, where they did the interlude and chillinism, like
Yeah.
it didn't really work there. Like, and
Yeah.
then when he put Jap Kid right in the middle and Tragic Days towards the end, it really like brings you back
Mm-hmm.
down, and then they just go right back at you, stick you in the face, and you're ready to
Mm-hmm.
go.
That's something too that I like. We're relating it to what we just experienced, but then even if I look prior to Light User Syndrome, I was kind of hoping that this album existed before I knew it existed in the oeuvre of the fall discography, because we got to infotainment scan, right? And an infotainment scan for me was kind of like a little bit of a peek towards the future, where there is a little crack where you can see that there is that experimentalism. And I'm not talking about the machines and the dance music and stuff like that, because that's not really the experimentalism that the fall is really geared towards in my book or for my ear. But then I see in Infotainment Sand does it. The Cerebral Caustic album kind of does that. It gets a little bit weirder, right? Even though it's kind of going garage rocky, it's getting it back to roots, but it's getting a little weirder. Light User Syndrome has maybe the most of this 90s era kind of left field feeling to it, but then this one really just hits on it and says, we're we're throwing the book out the window for from the past, I mean, the past 8 albums, maybe plus a couple, and we're just gonna go and make something that's really unique, and it almost reminds me of some of the classic fall records in its variety, and that's something that really catches me.
The shift where Code Selfish Infotainment Scan was kind of a new era.
Mhm.
Then Middle Class Revolt kind of fell flat. It was a little bit like the previous 3 albums. It was a little bit like
Yeah.
their past music. And I like you said, I think Cerebral Caustic, they were like, okay, back to what we know. We're going to play rock music.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
now, I mean, it makes sense that it sounds different because we have a lot of new, well, not a lot of new people, but just different influences on it.
Yeah. But isn't it interesting, Steve, that it's like even though Dave Bush is gone, right? And we've moved on from the Dave Bush era, there is the residual effects, and even Craig Scanlon, right? We have the residual effects of those members and then all of the previous members in some of these songs where you're like, wow, like, is this a Dave Bush sound that's just more fucked up? And then you're also like, is this a Craig Scanlon guitar riff that's kind of, and sometimes it actually, I think what we're going to find out is it actually is kind of, but is that a Craig Scanlon guitar riff, but then kind of fucked up or like even placed on a track that sounds reminiscent of an early fall song? And that's why this album fucking rocks.
Yeah, are the people coming in not prepped enough? So the only cues they get are, "Hey, make it sound like this,"
Previous
and
albums? Yeah.
well, not even previous albums, but like we kind of want it to sound like this song from the past, and then they play it, and they're like, "Okay, I can make something similar to that."
Hmm. Hmm.
Because we know a lot of the new guys weren't given a lot of time to
No.
practice or pay attention.
This is an album that I wish I knew more about the making of it, but I don't know. I mean, it just I kind of like the mysteriousness of it from my perspective because I like kind of not knowing a lot of these songs background, and we will get into some of the background onto some of 'em, so it'll be kind of fun for the journey for both of us and maybe for some of the listeners that are not well versed in it. Comparing the first half of this album to the second half, I think they're both extremely strong sides of fall albums, but there's something about the back half, and I think you were saying it, gets there's something about it that's like it's kind of perfectly strange and it's perfectly fall experimental that and the songs have multiple parts. We're coming from an era where it's pre-programmed machine programmed music where you can't really get off the rails that much. And now finally we can get off the rails. And I'm so happy we're getting off the rails. And even if Mark is just completely in a weird place, he is bringing something along with the rest of the band that is to be commended, because he's showing up at least for the vocal takes that are blown out and that are mixed weird, and it's all kind of fitting together in a hodgepodge way somehow, is in the way the fall works,
Yeah,
perfectly.
I think he sounds pretty good on this for what he has the last couple albums, or
Yeah.
like, and the covers are kind of weird in this place. So, like, it just kind of adds to the
Mhm.
circus that we were talking about, because like they're like jangle pop, kind of surf pop, like rock. They don't necessarily make sense with the sounds that came before them, but
Yeah.
they're good and they work. No long songs at all. At 4:15 or 5-6 minutes is the longest one.
Yeah, and that's a extreme outlier because and then also there's something about this album that kind of reminds me of Total's Turns, where it's a mixture of songs, but then also kind of, it sounds like could have been live takes in the studio, maybe some of them, and then some of them are mixed in live with studio recording, and then some of them are demos, and that's kind of a Total's Turns style album, and that's why it just gives me a feel of a early classic fall album, even though Mark sounds nothing like that early classic album, but it's something about it. There's like a through line, even though we're so far removed from that that era.
Well, let's get to work here.
Yeah, we got a lot of work to do. Let's do it.
So yeah, Levitate, September 1997 on Artful Records LP. Lineup: Marky Smith, Steve Hanley, Julia Nagel, keyboards, guitar, and programming. Simon Wollstonecroft, Carl Burns, two new guitarists, Tommy Crooks and Andy Hackett.
Mm-hmm.
Say goodbye to Bricks.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And Carl's here.
Yeah, Carl's here playing drums.
You never know if Carl's gonna be there or not. He's he's here. And he does a great job actually on this. 14 tracks. Let's get into it, Steve. What are we leading off with?
10 Houses of Eve.
Can you see the 10 houses of Eve? And can you answer the 10 houses of Eve? And will you deny your own creator? Dare you answer the 10 houses of Eve? Turn around and bail 10 houses of
I think that's the perfect illustration of what's to come.
Mm.
Starts out in the typical kind of fall way. It starts with some noises, some things you don't know what's going on. And then it drips into some of Julia's beautiful keyboard work that is trends throughout the rest of this album. And then the breakdown to just noise and rock again. I mean, it really, if you want to know what the rest of the album is going to be like, this is it.
I'm totally with you. I mean, you're not going to really get it on the podcast here with you just listening to little snippets of these songs. But my favorite thing is the fall has gone back to creating songs that are 3-dimensional. They're 3-dimensional songs. They have multiple sections that the fall should and deserves to have. And yeah, like you're saying, half rock at the end, or it kicks into the rock, which is a perfect segue into what's about to happen on the next 3-4 tracks. I mean, for the rest of the album, like you said. But then you got Mark delivering lyrics, but then also slurring lyrics in the chorus. So then it gives you a little taste of that. What's going to come with that? There's good lyrics in here. Then there's, I mean, even better lyrics in here. Like even I like this lyric that says, "Identify art, if only identify art, if only the shards would relocate back in place, like it's like a mosaic, like shards of glass, whatever." And then in your blue green heart, in your blue green and gray heart, that like it's just really. And then in a rap sort of style, but this is just like really kind of fun, but then there's a darkness to it. But then also the title is almost like a literary for me. When I hear 10 Houses of Eve, I'm like, that sounds like a novel. And it kind of is.
It is from a novel. So
Oh, it is. Okay.
So yeah, they say the first live version was named it 10 Houses of Evil, but then they changed it. So
10 Houses of Evil. Yeah, that sounds like more like Mark, honestly.
Yeah. Then there was a book from 1957 that was turned into a movie that won an Academy Award. It's called The Three Faces of Eve. And so,
but he doesn't watch TV, so he wouldn't.
Yeah, no, he only
watches
Garden and War
with the sound off.
So the actress who won the Academy Award for the title character, then she played a psychiatrist in the movie Sybil, and that woman had 13 distinct personalities.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, that's definitely something that we need to write about.
Yeah.
That's
So they
shattered personality.
The fall forum is saying Sybil's 13 personalities minus Eve's 3 equals 10. So we got the 10 Houses of Eve.
Oh, cool. And once again, thank you to the Fall Forum and Danny No and everyone for doing their due diligence into the background, because that's fun. That's fun too. I like that a lot. It's a great lead off track. It only kind of doubles up on itself as we get into the second track, right?
Yeah. So, one more little tip.
Oh yeah, tell me, please.
I always like referencing the line. Where's that rap line? In a rap sort of way. When they did the US 80s, 90s, Mark called himself the Big Shot original rapper.
Yeah, I do remember that. I do remember that as the callback. And also Mark has always been mostly the pro rap genre, like, in the artistic value that it brings. And so that makes sense. He's the original MC. Yeah, man, it's a good one. And you know what I'm saying, like we were talking about at the beginning, it has the sounds that Dave Bush brought into the band, right? Continuing here. And this is where Julia was like, the stories of like Julia coming in and saying like, Mark says that we're going to do my songs from now on. That's kind of what the feeling I get when it's a Smith and Nagel kind of lead off and for the first 3 tracks, and it's a Smith and Nagel production, and you get that, but it's kind of different because I think it's a little bit less it's fleshed out.
So yeah, this one is a remix of the Dose.
Yeah, the Dose song.
Dose of Powderkeg. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the single from Light User Syndrome. So yeah, you're getting the Machines. I mean, I'm sure you've all listened to our interview with Dave now that it's out. And if you haven't, get on it.
Yep.
But yeah, he was talking about other people coming around and, kind of whispering to Mark or to whoever was listening that, they might be better than Dave. And so, there's still some Machine users who wanted in on this opportunity.
Yeah. And I am kind of curious about that dynamic when it was in play, which was Dave was kind of at the forefront. He even told us he like sold everything to get his computer and like get all the equipment that he needed to even just start doing it. And he's like reading all the manuals, and it kind of makes me think that at this point, I mean, it's like what 5 years, half a decade later, 5 years later, or whatever, where this is a little bit more approachable, the programming and things like that. So it might have been like, did he teach the bands a couple little tricks? Was there like some inner, I gotta assume there was collaboration between the band and they were learning from each other, where the sound was kind of organically blooming for the fall within the band, that this is the thing that fits. So yeah, it's really cool. It's really nice.
And I could just imagine Mark as like a closet like electronic music lover, right? Like he's never gonna admit it, but
Yeah.
I mean, when you're drunk and high on speed and hanging out, like he's just like, yeah, that should be in our songs a little bit, like maybe a little bit more. Like I don't want to tell you that's my jam, but that's it.
It has all of his favorite things in there. It has the repetition to infinity if you want, right? You could repeat that. You could have that thing playing for days on end, and it's going to play the same thing. And it also has the groove that makes you want to move around a little bit, and that's what Mark likes too. He likes to move around on that bus when they're driving down to the next gig, and just move around, get loosen up those muscles that have been a little bit tightened up from sitting in the pub. So yeah, I can totally get that vibe.
Masquerade.
And what is that ground? What branch is it? The count is also the 9-year-olds walk around and get record. The count also the grim bizarre. The count is also all yours.
You know what they do a good job of on this album too is removing instrumentation at certain parts of songs. Like the Steve Hanley bass, it cuts out for certain like the verses and then pops in for the choruses, and it just punches really that much harder because you have the space freed, and then you reinitiate the Steve Hanley bass riffage, and it just makes you appreciate Steve Hanley even more when it comes in and it's popping along with the electronic beat.
Yeah, I think on some of these tracks too, the vocals are very forward. Like
Yeah,
they sound like they're almost not recorded while the band was playing, right?
for
Like,
sure.
and layered in on top, which is new. I mean, I probably just due to the circumstances of Mark not being around.
Yeah, that's what I want. I want to talk about this because this is like really good. This is a really good point. Yeah, the way the song starts, it sounds like Mark is like performing with the band, but then when it kicks in later, it's an overdub, and it's
Yeah.
an overdub in a completely different. Like Mark is in a completely different mental mindset where he's whispering and he's singing it, but it's much closer. It's like the gain, the volume is jacked up, and he's that much closer, but he's not yelling it, so it's not blown out. And it's just like this collage of different vocal styles. And at one point in the middle, it's even him doing that soft vocal. It's louder. And then in the background, it's like maybe the original vocal take and it's blown out, but it's in the background. So it's like a weird, cool mix that only producer Marky Smith would maybe sign off on.
Choose, yeah.
Yeah.
Be forced into because that's the only take they got with
Yeah,
the lyrics
yep.
in there.
Yeah. Yep. And whatever it is, it's working. But what do you think about this story? Because this is the Masquerade is cool because it's almost taking place revolving around, I assume, a bank branch, right?
Yeah, I
And
mean,
then
going off the interview we read, something happened at a bank recently to Mark. I don't know what, an overdrawn account, some sort of fee, something. Mark is pissed.
Something not positive. Something not positive.
The banks are out to get him, whatever it is. Like
Yeah,
Them
the
and
count.
all the fat pigs down there drinking off their aluminum pipe.
Yeah, the rich pigs, the 9-year-olds walking around with the debt in the debt record. The count is altered, the grim visage. The count is delta. The web descends. Look to your gray hairs. Look to your gray hairs is a great line. Oh man, and back to your horses, a special allowance, and then it's running out. Like there's just a completely running outness, and yeah, just putting the bank system with the masquerade. It is a masquerade. And even if you think about a masquerade in like, Shakespearean, whatever style, like they're wearing masks, right? Like they're not who they appear to be. And they're wearing masks almost like they're fucking robbers. Like they're working in a bank, but they're bank robbers, but they're working for the bank and they're robbing the clientele. Yeah. 50% interest ran out today. Yeah. Yeah. That I get it.
Did you recognize anybody there that you might know and love?
What in this?
Yep.
The fish dish?
Nope. The very beginning of the song.
Oh,
This is new. The little whispering is the one and only Brick Smith.
is it really?
Yeah.
Huh. What? She's on here. Huh.
Yeah. The whole quote is, "This is new, fresh out of the womb. It's getting stale now."
That's Bricks on here. Huh. Well, I'm not surprised she doesn't get credited on the album at all, but I'm not surprised about that, but I am surprised that she's on the album in general. Huh. Okay. Well, she picked a good track to be on if it was her choice.
Yeah, I don't think so. I
No,
don't think
I don't
she
think
was.
so
I
either.
don't think she was consulted.
I don't think so either. That might have been from like a single recording session. This was recorded at West Heath Studios in London, Beethoven Street Studios in London, and PWL Studios in Manchester in mid 1997.
No, it was from a live tape from her last gig with the group, October 11th, 1996 at the Forum.
Oh, see, that's what I'm talking about. They cut in, it's like a collage. They're literally cutting in parts of it into it.
Yeah, so I
Huh.
guess it was before Das Volter ans in Nuttervan, but
Yeah.
the original plan was to play. They thought they were going to play Masquerade.
Know what this is telling me though? Like, just this album and the way that it's produced is that Marky Smith as a producer is actually what we all want. We don't want the double producer. We don't want the extra producer that's kind of prettying everything up and getting things in there. We've had the John Leckie experience. We've had the Simon, the Rogers. We've had so many other producers, and I think what it comes down to is he already wants total control. You got to give him total control, and if you give him total control, you might get something that's actual unique art instead of something that's fall, but it is something that's kind of little, maybe like prettying up the edges and like putting a little bit of structure to it that you don't really want, or at least in my case.
Yeah, or Mark's never going to allow it to have that commercial success. Like, it's never going to go in the direction that these producers want it to go in, right? So just leave him out of the room. Like, let him do his thing. This song was co-written by Mike Bennett, who produced Cerebral Caustic and Light User Syndrome. So
okay. So Mike Bennett is still around and back. Isn't it also interesting that Brix was just in the band and now she's no longer in the band, and Mark goes into this, gear again, right? Brix was in the band, and then they were kind of going for something. Is
he with Julia Nagel now?
Yeah, he's with Julia Nagel. Yes, yeah.
That's how.
Yeah, because even at that interview that we were reading at the beginning of the episode, Julia Nagel comes into the pub and sits down with the guy and says, "Oh yeah, don't worry about Mark. He can just be like that sometimes." And yeah, they're definitely together. And she's like
Hughes was right in retrospect.
trying to cover for him because he's about to get kicked out of the pub for punching a wall because he's so mad.
In Ross County.
Shadow boxing in the pub. But yeah, let's get into the next track, Steve. Let's get into the perfect storm that is Hurricane Edward.
Every time I hear this, I think of the Hurricane by Bob Dylan, and it's nothing like that at all. But I just read it. I just read the Hurricane. I'm like, oh, is it gonna be like that? No, it's not.
You're not off. You're not too far off in the duration of the song. You know, I think that's the only similarity. It's got a lot of words. It's got a lot of lines, not a lot of words. Let me tell you a story.
Yeah, this is the noisiest track. Like, just it's fun.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The tempo change. They're ramping it up.
It's what are they tuning their instruments in the beginning of the song? What?
Yeah, little chiming on the strings below the bridge, and yeah, it's cool.
Just the drum battle too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I would like to hear Bob Dylan cover this. Current day Bob Dylan. Bob Dylan doing a fall song would be fucking great. And has Mark done? I mean, has the fall done a Bob Dylan song? I don't think so. I gotta assume Mark has made a statement on Bob Dylan at some point because they have to have been compared as lyric writers, even though they're way different lyric writers. But in the same ways, they're kind of similar in that they write about like everyday life, but in a skewed way. Mark, of course, goes way darker. They both have edge to it, though. They both have a cuttingness. They can both write a cutting song. Bob Dylan will write a cutting love song, anti-love song. Mark will write an anti-love song about society or a culture or a population or a profession.
I think it fits in its space.
I'm happy it's before the next track. I'm glad it's not like a cover yet. It would have been too soon for a cover, and
For
especially
sure.
that type of cover.
And then the next track is like almost like a palate cleanser, basically. I mean, this is
Yeah.
the longest track on the album. Probably doesn't need to be,
No,
but it is.
it doesn't. It's got like a long outro that's kind of a lo-fi recording dirge. That's cool. I actually like the outro a lot. I wish they added some of those pieces into the rest of the song so it kind of meshed together a little bit. The lyric, I think this is just all about the lyrics, right? It's kind of a collage of sound and it's an experimental piece. And I like the speeding up of the drums, like Carl just and it's getting quicker and quicker. It's like racing your pulse. It's giving that little bit of tension, actually a lot of tension. And then Mark's lyrics are pretty cool and weird, where he's even where the way it starts, this cleanliness won't take your brass. Mr. Greaves was right in retrospect. He knew his climate. I'm not an ordinary guy. Am I? I held a yellow thick rope. So dialed before him, I was farmhand. Then came hurricane. And also sleep at 12:30 in cozy cots. I get up early, I plow the land. You know, you got the farmer thing, you got the farmer character, the hurricane coming.
Hurricane Edward, dude. He doesn't even mention Edward.
Yeah, he doesn't even mention Edward. He just puts
But
Edward in there.
do you know what
Sleeping and waking.
the E in MES stands for?
Yes, Mr. Edward, Mark Edward Smith.
There you go. See the hurricane coming? Seems like he's the hurricane when he walks in a room. If he wants to be.
Yeah, we were thinking about making that a little trivia question for our fall giveaway, but we thought, this might be easily findable, this information. What is Marky Smith's middle name? What's the E in Marky Smith? So you missed out on that one. Let's Steve, do you know anything about the intro though? The taped narrative? I've always wondered about that. Is there any information about who is that? What is that?
So it is a sound tech from West Heath Studios named Seb Wesley.
Of course. Say no more. That explains everything. That's good.
She says it's from a TV radio show, something about that, delivered by a farmhand in Ross County. There is no evidence that TV radio show existed, so the experts have dismissed that claim.
I don't know though. I don't know. I kind of don't dismiss that claim. I hate to go against kind of the more experts than myself, but I kind of don't go against that claim because I feel like just those couple lines that started, awake at 5 a.m., Mr. Hughes was right in retrospect. He knew the climate. I was a farmhand in Ross County. Then he came the hurricane. That seems like just the jumping off point for what Mark does with the rest of the lyrics. Like, it just seems like he would want that in there because it's just so directly related to what he's about to get into. He's not going to come up with something that's that.
There are two Ross counties, one in Ohio and one in Scotland.
Do you think the fall toured in? Yeah, they probably went to Cleveland.
But they said Lou Wesley's accent seems to be more Scottish than Midwestern. So they're going Scottish.
I would assume you'd probably go with the Scottish for sure. Okay.
And so Tommy Crook, who's the guitarist on here, also did the album artwork. It also has another piece of art called The Farmhand.
Oh.
So who knows? So it says it's a recurring character from guitarist Tommy Crook's art called The Farmhand. I could not find that piece of art,
and we will get into the artwork, which I'm excited to do so as well, but not so fast, mate. We got to get into a little cover. It's been too long. We've gone 3 tracks. I'm surprised we've gone this long. Let's get into a cover here, Steve. What do we got?
We got I'm a Mummy. Yeah, so this is Bob McFadden and Dor, D-O-R.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a sucker for the surf rock.
I knew you liked
the scary music. Like, I don't know why. I love the Halloween-esque. Not all year, but come October, I'll listen to a lot of these silly songs.
Yeah, I was listening to this album a lot. I was like, I know Steve's going to like this one. This one's got a good rippage. It's got the good thing. For me, I'm kind of like, man, I was like kind of having fun with the weirdness, and this kind of ruined it ruined the vibe. The like you said, a roller coaster that I was on. It took me off the roller coaster and made me go to the fucking nacho tent. You know, like I'm like getting my little snacks and stuff and like watching a little sideshow that's not It's like the kids show kind of.
Yeah.
Which I normally like this. Honestly, I like this, and I like the fall doing this, but I don't like that where this is. I don't like this on the album. I think this is good as a fall, just like side little ditty.
Yeah, side B on a single somewhere makes a lot more sense. I mean, but when the circus is in town, you gotta appease everybody. There's little kids in the crowd.
That's right. That's right. And there's got to be a little intermission when they're like scooping up the elephant shit and stuff like that, and the clowns are running around. This is actually a good clown.
Exactly. Yeah, like
small
the clown car. The
car.
clown car
Yeah.
pulls in, and they're all piling out.
It's all the X-Fall members,
And then a mummy
a
mummy comes out of it and starts chasing the clowns around.
Yeah, and even there's a shout out to Paul McCartney in this song, which I was like every time I'm like, oh, Paul McCartney. I really came back to meet Paul McCartney. The mummy came back from thousands of years. He's like, oh, I came back to meet Paul McCartney to just see, with the Beatles. Why did you write that song, Paul? Why'd you write Blackbird? I'm totally out of the cultural domain. I have no idea what's going on. But big fan, Paul. Love Ram, love the solo work. Yeah, that is what it is, right? That is what it is. Unfortunately, in there for me. But let's get back on the roller coaster. Come on,
it's right in the money spot. The 4-track too. Yeah, it's probably not necessary, but here we are.
No, I'm liking that it's not ruining the backside for me, but I don't really. It might have been good as like a 7th track before we flip it. Let's get into the quartet of Dr. Shanley. How's that quartet sounding? It sounds like they're missing a couple members.
I don't care. Give me more Hanley. Give me that bass master.
I know, it's such a fucking dirty ass groove the whole time.
Don't want to, no spoilers for anybody who doesn't know, but this is it for him.
Yeah. Unfortunately, this is, and that's why we're appreciating it so hard. But yeah, the call and response to this is like it's so good. It's so good. Like Julia's in there, Tommy's in there doing the backing vocals, and I found this interview with Tommy where he said, "Well, it was like being put into the trenches. You just had to do it, and once you're on, it's the fall. There's no way back. There's no point of being scared." Mark said, "We're doing this and we're doing this." Songs I'd never played. Then he'd say, "By the way, Tommy, you're doing the backing vocals." And I sort of casually said, "Do you mind if I don't do the backing vocals?" And Mark said, "Yeah, I do fucking mind." Yeah, and I got some more good Tommy insights as far as how he came into the fall, which is really fun and really interesting. But I'll hold that off till we get into the artwork that he created. But for this song, it's really cool. I like the title of it being the Quartet of Dr. Shanley, and it's just, it's just Steve Hanley just ripping it apart, and then having these vocals from multiple members. It's just something we haven't heard yet. We haven't heard it in like that's the quartet, right? The 3 backing vocals and then Steve Hanley bass. It's like the most unorthodox quartet, and that's just a fall move to create a new quartet arrangement.
First of all, where do you think Hanley confirmed that this bass line was from?
Oh. I'm going to just guess Sly and the Family Stone.
The source is The Psychedelic, Unhinged, and Glorious, Ridiculous, Crazy Horses by the Osmonds.
The Osmonds. Yeah. I mean, it had to be something like that. That is a dance poppy
Yeah.
track that he just completely annihilates.
And then
Huh.
they're calling Doc Steve Hanley. You know where Doc Shanley comes from?
No.
There was a shortstop for the St. Louis Browns in 1912 named Harry Root Doc Shanley.
Yeah.
It seems very unlikely that Mark knew of him, but it's possible that Shanley and Hanley came together. Oh, our friend and
He's like, oh,
Gloria.
this sounds like your name. This sounds like your
Glorious.
name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, Dan was on deep in the archives when he pulled that guy out of his ass to say, yeah, it could be Doc Shanley from the 1912 St. Louis Browns baseball team.
That's so fucking good, but that's also so fucking bizarre because you know how many guys back then, like in the olden times baseball era, were nicknamed Doc. Like so many. There's gotta be so many Docs, and then they're just pulling them out. You're like, nope, it was this one. It was definitely this one. Yeah, that's good.
Shanley Hanley. It makes sense.
Shanley Hanley, the Docs, shortstop. Your leadoff base player, your leadoff hitter. Yeah. For that one especially. Oh man. Okay, Steve, let's get into. We got a couple left on this side. Let's get into Jap Kid. There's a lot of piano on this album. Well, it starts to be more and more prevalent towards the backside, and I like it a lot. But I really wish they would have had a real piano. Like that's my only thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Why couldn't they have just used a real piano? Because we've talked about it in the past where that digital piano actually sounds cool and fitting in a fall way that it's like accessible. They don't need something really fancy. But in this case, I kind of want an organic sound mixed with that, compressed drum beat sound. It would just sound way more three-dimensional and atmospheric. And that's what it's kind of like going for this track, an atmospheric little interlude track that is, I like it. I like it a lot, actually.
It's yeah, exactly. It's beautiful, but you do want the crispness, the sharpness of an actual piano.
Yeah. Just more beef, more depth. And this one is just there. It's just there. And it's not like playing anything interesting, but it's also, I appreciate it. It is appreciated because it is so simple and it is so repetitive in a way that most other groups would have added more things. And it just is good. This is actually the palate cleanser for me right there in the middle. Let's get into track 7.
I got a little nugget here coming
Yes.
back from the quartet, from our favorite fans. So they are going back and referencing Dan Saber. I'm not sure what they're even really talking about, but
Dan Saber, what are you?
Dan Saber, American musician, started a band called Black Grape that was former members of Manchester band Happy Mondays.
Oh, okay.
And then this guy, Chris Carter, who was a founding member of Throbbing Gristle.
Yeah.
That was a band, Industrial Music.
Yeah. Throbbing Gristle for sure.
So, but Chris Carter also is known for creating the X-Files.
What?
And so, yeah. So, yeah.
I do remember seeing the name Chris Carter, but that's the same guy.
Same guy. Yeah. And
same
so
guy.
Here's what Mark had to say about the X-Files. So a couple of years ago, I got this commission to write 6 episodes of what was going to be like an X-Files thing. I said, I'll do 6 25-minute stories. I spent all this time doing it and the music, and I got all these people to help me with the scripts. Got them all ready. Went to the TV station and they say, "Oh, we've changed our minds. The new directors." It was like a 4 or 5 month hard work up to the spout. Then the last thing I heard was the X-Files had been in contact with the TV station, and they said to me, we could have a look at your scripts again because we can't find the ones you submitted. I said, no fucking way. You'll send them to the X-Files, rip all my ideas off, and then send them back and say you're not interested. So I burned half of them. And I used the ones that were left for bits of the solo album, The Post Nearly Man.
Oh, okay. Well, there's a lot of parts of that story that I'm really interested in it because know what it sounds. I mean, it makes sense because Mark wrote a screenplay eventually that had the paranormal, it had the occult in there, so
I gave it to you for Christmas.
I know, and it's good, and it's good. So I know that Mark can write the screenplay, and with assistance as needed to get it done. Them saying we never received those also makes me feel like they never got those from him. Like he's like, yeah, I wrote all those things, but then maybe they were in the carrier bag and they're just all jumbled in there, and you never really sent them anywhere. They're just in the flat, just like scattered. Oh man, that's really weird. But man, how cool would it have been to watch X-Files with the fall music?
Oh yeah.
Oh my god, come on.
I love the X-Files. Yeah, I got it. I watched it when it came out, but I was kind of too young to get it. And then I rewatched it, I don't know, probably half a decade ago, if not a decade ago. And I was like, yeah, that sci-fi weirdness is fun.
I mean, it's basically like the Twilight Zone, right? But then there is like a kind of a thematic through line, but every episode is basically its own little vignette about, weird things happening that are not always alien related. So it's very much of a Hitchcock / Twilight Zone style. And man, get Marky Smith on there, right? He would have made it way more bizarre, like where you could probably not follow it that well. Like this is the plot line, but it would have been way more fun in rewatching it. But I do remember it too. I did remember enjoying that as a young lad.
Where are we at here? You know where the flip is?
Yeah. After Spencer Must Die. So I think we got to get into the track right before that, and we got to get into another measurement, 4.5 inch.
The house is falling in. Silver. 9 to 10.
That's what we called you in college, right?
Well, little known fact, in college, I was actually known as well as 4.5 inch. I was also known as 2x4. So for various reasons, mainly because I was very, very, very into carpentry, building lofted bunk beds. It's weird. It's a weird, parallel that we've gotten into this because everything is lining up. All of the measurements are lining up to our lives, which is kind of cool. This song is actually, in my ear, the most 90s sounding on this album. And I don't know why, but I kind of can guess why. And it's kind of like, it's like a break beat, and it's kind of like a little bit of experimental dance group, but a little bit off like house music, something but weirder. And I think there's people that I play music with that might not be into the fall, but if I played them that, I think they're of a certain ilk where they'd be like, oh, dang, what is this? This is kind of fun. This is kind of fun and cool. I didn't know that the fall made music like this.
Yeah, kind of different than anything they sound like, ultimately.
Ecstatic midges, cloud coverage, houses, cloud coverage, houses falling in, force 10. I mean, the cloud coverage is moving forward. It's almost kind of a sister track to the hurricane. Like the hurricane never really fully comes as far as I hear in the Hurricane Edward, but this one is kind of like the hurricane hitting. It really does have the sound of like combativeness.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like you are in a house that is getting blown over by the wind, kind of.
Yeah.
Like
Getting punished.
Yeah, you're in there, static midges. I mean, I just like to think of the bugs are excited because
Yeah.
this is
Like
going to be
jumping out of the walls, like jumping out of the walls because the walls are rattling.
This is going to be a new breeding ground.
I mean, it's cool. It's cool because it's like southwards. Like it's all these like words that are directional and forceful, like adjectives, and it's interesting. It's interesting, and it is definitely another atmospheric track, but different atmosphere than Jap Kid. And it's cool. It comes right after that. It's another thing I have to give them props for, which is like a track list that is flowing in a very kind of suitable way.
Yeah, Simon Ford said in Hit Priest that it reminded Smith of Nine Inch Nails.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean,
it's a 90s sound. It's an industrial sound that people that don't know the Fall or just know the Fall from, Hex Induction Hour or whatever from the classic albums, they're not going to assume that this is, or even like Shift Work or something like that. It's not as industrial as this. It's refreshing.
Force 10 gale is the whole gale, exceeding only by a violent storm and hurricane.
Yep. Okay.
The whole gale is 55 to 63 miles per hour.
That's pretty good. It's pretty forceful in my book. Well, now that the wind has knocked down the house, let's see who's alive and who is no longer with us. Let's get into the last track on side A, Spencer Must Die. Going off the last track, this one you can kind of get the same vibe of Mark's maybe interest in hip hop music, because this track as an instrumental could be a hip hop track with actual rapping going on. The beat,
yeah,
Carl Burns' beat, Steve Hanley doing this up and down the neck of the bass, which you don't really ever hear in the Fall up to this point. But the keyboard, that's kind of like a plucking sound.
Yeah,
I mistake it for backing vocals at the beginning of a female vocal that's just going like a humming, but it's definitely a keyboard. Interesting. Every time I'm just like picking up on the little nuances because I'm always listening for his lyrics that are so hard to decipher, like on this one. Like, can you decipher him? What he's talking about?
No, I don't know. I mean,
I don't know.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of kind of like, so Simon Spencer,
Yeah.
and Kira Stewart were in Inch, and then Dose was Simon Spencer's kind of solo work. And they kind of had a tumultuous relationship with Mark and all the stuff they were doing. So the story kind of goes is this, yeah, exactly. Is this about saying, this is 1997, just saying Spencer must die, but then another interesting.
But he gets a writing credit. Like he gets a Smith and Spencer writing credit. Yeah.
Princess Diana's maiden name was Spencer as well.
Oh yeah. Yeah. That explains why in that interview the interviewer is asking him about that. Or he's asking
he
the interview about
brings
it.
it all up all of a sudden. But then, do you know how Simon Spencer actually died? This is a
No.
pretty sad story.
Okay, I guess, yeah. Okay, tell me.
So at the end of a music festival in 2003, him and the band were eating some curry. He said he didn't feel good, so he went to lie down on the grass, and he ended up, like, I don't know, passing out, and he choked on his own vomit and died.
No.
Yeah.
Oh no, that sounds like drugs.
Yeah,
influence as well.
everyone was kind of saying he seemed fine. He wasn't that.
It doesn't seem like
inebriated.
bad curry. It doesn't sound like bad
I-
curry. Dang, that's unfortunate. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, pretty weird.
Pretty weird. Another instance where Mark more or less foretells.
Foresees the future.
Yeah. Strange. Well, that's the end of side A of Levitate, and we're not done, but we're done for now, mates. So we look forward to flipping this sucker over, and we got a lot to talk about. We're going to jump right into the album art on side B, but for now, we'll say we are the fall.
We are the best.